Today we're going to take a detailed look at Ethereum because the coin is currently super hyped. We've just pumped 52% since the last consolidation down here. I think everyone has noticed that. Unstoppable. Ethereum has now had green candles for the last 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row. 9 days, guys. That should make you think a little. Because right now on social media and I want to show you some on-chain data which we'll go through together in a moment. I've prepared quite a bit here. There are hundreds of thousands of Ethereum waiting here to be picked up in the order book in the futures trade. And what happens when these get picked up, we'll go through that in detail as well. Not only that, we'll also take a look at the ETFs, because the inflow is currently slowing down. Even Bitcoin had an outflow yesterday and we want to analyze that in detail as well. But before we continue, I would really appreciate it if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit that subscribe button. Also feel free to check out the first video on 100% passive income on autopilot. We in the community have been doing this for quite some time now. I've been doing it for a long time anyway. It works wonderfully. We also have a dedicated trading bot section in our Telegram group where you can learn how to set it up yourself. You're welcome to join and exchange ideas with us. Otherwise, I'd also really appreciate a like and a comment on the video. By the way, I'll be live again tonight around 7 o'clock. Of course, I'll also announce it on Telegram. We'll go through the trading bot tests again. I'm currently running a grid trading bot test on Bitunix and these are the current results from the closed bots. And today I'll also show you how the active bots are performing. And together we'll set up new bots. Not just grid bots, but we'll also open a futures martingale bot. What I'm explaining in this video is in the spot section. So make sure to check it out. Once again, there's a chance to win $100. Before we continue with the analysis, a small request. Bitget is currently hosting a trading tournament. Anyone can join. I've created a team. If you take a look here, I need at least 10 members. I created this morning so that we can even start as a team here. There's no obligation really. You don't have to trade a lot or anything like that. Let's just join in together. I'll also be sharing trades and similar things in the Telegram group. But I also do live trading so you can see how I approach things. And that would of course be very, very exciting. It's not just about futures. There's also a trading bot and a copy trading challenge. For us, the trading bot is especially interesting because we use it a lot in the community. And then we'll see a few other events that will follow gradually. But overall, there's a total prize pool of $6 million to be won, which will then be distributed. So for anyone who hasn't joined yet, I have a link in the video description. Sign up. You can already be registered with Bitget. If you're not registered yet, there's a link to sign up, but anyone can join and then we'll just see what comes out of it. But now let's get started with the Ethereum chart. Guys, if a pump like this doesn't make you think, I know nobody wants to hear it. Right now, if you go on social media and scroll through a bit, that's all you see. I get it. This 4-year trend line that we currently have. If we break through it, things will shoot up massively. But just take a look at this current monthly candle in comparison. This one, the one we have right now. Have we ever had something like this in the past without a correction following it? We had a similar candle, but this candle here, just as a small example, had a second monthly candle that tested the $4,000 level again before a correction happened. But exactly these kinds of massive candles, like the one we have here now 1 month, let's just emphasize this again, this monthly candle has had an overall increase of 60%. That means unless we are about to enter a parabolic bull run, like what we see here, where we could say we're really in some kind of super cycle and prices are just going up and up, we should be cautious at the moment. And I'll show you why. Because if we go to the daily chart and trace this back, after such a massive surge, after these lows here, with Ethereum, we were also around $2,000 here after a run like this, just like what we have now. And you can see here, it looked similar here. We had an incredible number of candles, went up about 40%, so a bit less than now. And after that, there was at least a small correction. This correction was about 12%, 12.5%. And right now, I would be cautious about whether that might happen again. Because, and we'll see this in the on-chain data, what happened here, this pump is just so incredible for Ethereum. Of course, I'm extremely happy that it's pumping like this for my Ethereum holdings, but I'm honestly ready for a correction. Because the fact that the market makers are just letting all this happen with the hype through social media and everywhere, that suddenly everyone is talking about Ethereum now that we're at the top, and people are saying you should buy now and Ethereum will make you rich. Yeah, definitely. I think so too. But not if I buy in right here at this exact point. This isn't investment advice, it's just my opinion and also based on the experience I've had in the past after such price surges. Because if we look at the on-chain data now, let's take a look at the liquidation map. For comparison, 1 week. We're only talking about 1 week now, and last week was that huge pump in Ethereum, which seemed unstoppable. And we can see that at this moment we have about 900 million above us. That means we could easily reach the 3,900 mark again, and those highly leveraged orange lines you see here could get taken out once more. But overend, we shouldn't forget this, that's a large amount for Ethereum, 2.66 billion below us. That's quite a bit. That doesn't mean we have to reach that level now, but we do have some other data. Because if we look at the liquidation heat map, we can see that 3,872 fits perfectly with this price range here, where the highly leveraged liquidations are located. And now below USA this point in time, it doesn't look that significant, yet we have quite a bit sitting here down to 3,400 US. But now I want to show you something in the liquidity heat map. I haven't seen this much in Ethereum for a long time. The light yellow you see here, those are order positions. I quickly remove this down here. These are long order positions that are in Ethereum. At this moment, we're only talking about Binance, not any other exchange. And you can see here everything that's yellow here. When I move the mouse down these prices one by one, there are hundreds of thousands of Ethereum waiting to open a long position. And this goes down to a price range of 3,580 currently, hundreds of thousands of Ethereum. Just imagine what would happen if these were triggered by a dump down to this level. What would happen then on the liquidation heat map? That means depending on the leverage they have, we will soon see incredible liquidation clusters forming down here in these price ranges, those bright yellow ones, like we see here or as we've already seen here. And that's where I would be a bit cautious now. Why? Also still, if we look right now at the accumulation addresses of retail investors, not talking about the big whales, but just what retail is doing at the moment, they are buying Ethereum at the highest prices right now. And that might not necessarily be ideal, accumulating Ethereum at such highs without waiting for a pullback. That doesn't mean it has to happen, but guys, when we look at this price increase, I don't really see us immediately making another 50% gain from here. Maybe we'll consolidate here around 4,000 US, 4,100 is our local high for this cycle, so that we actually accumulate here for a while before the big wave, maybe even see a dip down before heading upwards again. Or we might actually see a correction right now, and we shouldn't forget about social media. Just scroll through, for example, on X. Right now, it's actually the case that everyone is talking about Ethereum. The hype around Ethereum is currently extremely high. But what is actually happening at this moment if we take a closer look? Now, if we compare this to the ETFs, we've seen incredible ETF inflows over the past week. They were really significant. In some cases, the inflows were even greater than those for Bitcoin. If we look at Thursday and Friday, there was simply more Ethereum inflow than Bitcoin inflow. But now, for the first time, it's starting to taper off a bit, and we should be a little cautious. I'm going to switch to the 1-year ETF inflow, and maybe you can still remember December. That was December. We had a massive pump upwards, and at first, this pump seemed unstoppable. Then there was a correction, and only after that did it continue to rise. And I could imagine something similar happening now after such a pump. Because if we look at the ETF inflow again, what happened when Ethereum was so hyped in December 24? Then all the inflows gradually decreased and even included a few outflows. And this exact comparison, this rise from the ETFs, as you can see here, which then flattened out very quickly, we've seen something similar now. We had a real hype which led to an incredible amount of accumulation upwards, and that's why we should now be a bit cautious on a monthly basis. For example, regarding further inflows or outflows with the ETFs. Check in daily, maybe on CoinMarketCap. I'll also mention in my videos what's currently happening with ETF inflows or outflows. Because why, even though Bitcoin has dropped so much now, we can take another look at Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin just had an incredible correction from 123,000 down to 115,000. So actually a massive correction which was very interesting for whale accumulation. So this correction on the 10th of July was also bought up very well by the whales, and at the moment things are getting a bit quiet. And now you really need to pay close attention to whether something might be happening in the background so that people say, hey, we might see another correction here. I also mentioned it in the last video. Don't forget, with Bitcoin, we still have a CME gap below us. That means it must have been about 2 weeks ago, right? After the Friday close and before the Monday opening of the exchanges, we never saw a pullback to the CME gap. That doesn't have to be filled immediately. We can also keep rising and then go down afterwards. But that's a magnetic point of attraction, not just the CME gap. I also shared it again yesterday in the Telegram group. If we take another look at the Bitcoin chart here, we also have down here on the daily charts, you can see it very clearly, a fair value gap. What is a fair value gap? Let me briefly explain that as well, even though Bitcoin is pumping nicely again right now. I like that. But a fair value gap simply means that we had a rising candle here without having a full correction in between. Or at least it doesn't have to be a complete correction. It just needs to be partially filled, or can be partially filled to put it correctly, yes. But that coincides with the CME gap and a large liquidation zone for Bitcoin, so that matches up. And here I am looking at the liquidation heat map on the 2-week chart for Bitcoin, and you can see that it extends up to about $112,700 And as I just mentioned, we have this fair value gap here, we have the CME gap and the liquidations. That means there are 3 factors aligning which might cause the market, and I'm not talking about a slow move but rather a strong wick to the downside. A candle that quickly wicks down, maybe even triggers some more longs, briefly closes the liquidation, the CME gap and the fair value gap, and only then does the next real push come. What I just noticed right now with this chart here, with this triangle that we're currently breaking out of to the upside, actually it's on point if we look here, there are definitely a lot of people going long right now. But you really should wait here to see if this isn't a fake out. That's very, very important. So it's great that we have this live on video so we can see this high being taken out and confirmed again. Because up to this point, we've just been making one lower high after another, and that really wasn't so good. If we manage to break above this now, that would be very bullish again. But if we don't manage it and maybe get a rejection here, then I would lean towards us coming down to pick up this area and then finally gaining momentum again, especially with Bitcoin for new all-time highs and to continue this market. And please keep that in mind for Ethereum as well. I would love to see it continue parabolically, but after such a rise, after so many green candles, either we really consolidate for a long time now, or and this is the next likely scenario, get a correction here first and only then see the next push, which would also be healthy. Maybe just from a Fibonacci technical perspective, where could this correction go? To the 0.5 to 0.618 levels? That would be the support line. That would be around $3,000, which I don't really believe will happen because we still have an incredible amount of volume support here. And we can also take a look at that if we open up the VPVR, we see that if we correct here at 3,400, we'd hit the first volume block and then another one at 3,200. And that's this green key level that I've marked here. That would then be the support where we have this volume. And that's what I would watch out for. That's also where I would scale my positions again. Alright, that's it for the video. Feel free to check out the live stream. There's a chance to win $100. We're also working with trading bots. I'll explain a bit more about it to you and then see you next time. Bye bye.